Okay. Hello, everyone. This Shabbos is a very special Shabbos for me in particular because Ki Tavo is my eldest son Baruch's bar mitzvah parsha, so it's always very special when it comes around. And Bichlal, we're deep into the month of Elul. Rosh Hashanah is around the corner, so Ki Tavo, and especially what it represents, has a lot of meaning for us in this time of year. So I thought we would take just a couple of moments to just delve into a couple of ideas together. So if you look in the famous Tochacha, by the way, is in this parsha, right? It encompasses almost half the parsha because it's just that one big aliyah. And at first sight, it seems terrible. If you look in Parak Chavchet in Sefer Devarim, when it talks about the klalot, the curses, it says Arurata ba'ir, Arurata b'sadid. You'll be cursed in the city. You'll be cursed out of the city. Right? It says Arurata b'volecha, Arurata b'tzetecha. When you come in, you'll be cursed. When you leave, you'll be cursed. It's scary. And then if you look in the Rambam Hilchot Tshuva, right, which is just awesome stuff. If you really want to find out how to focus on Elul, open up the Rambam Hilchot Tshuva. But in Perek Dalet Halacha Aleph, he talks about, if you see someone, right? You see someone, he's talking about your son, it could be anyone, it could be, so it says if you see someone who's acting in a way that you find is not the right behavior, and you have an ability to do something about it, what does he say? It says, it's like you're enticing them to become a sinner. So this is like wow, that's very heavy. Not only if you're doing the right thing, you see someone else is not doing the right thing, and you have an ability to influence and you don't, you're not only a sinner, you're like inciting them to sin. So these ideas, they're very heavy, and to be honest, they're very depressing. Is that what and I think that sometimes people feel when the Yamim Noraim, or what we call the high holidays approaching, they get so depressed about it because it's all about what I've done wrong, it's all about what I haven't been able to accomplish, and I think it's totally the wrong way to focus on the upcoming Chagim. So I remember, 2006 it was, right? The summer of 2006. Many of you have heard the very different stories I've told about my experiences in the Second Lebanon War. But one thing that I do remember is that, first of all, I didn't get any sleep for almost a month during the actual war. And in the times that we did have in a little brief respite here and there out of battle, I remember we had great conversations, all of us, all the Chayalim, all the soldiers, just like schmoozing and informal. I remember two main topics that came up were the different ethics of what we were doing, like different buildings that we were by. If Hezbollah terrorists are firing from a building, and we get the order, are we, is that permitted to do? What about if there are innocent bystanders? And we were discussing that, and then we were stationed for most of the war. We were stationed in a plum orchard, and it was the height of the summer, and all these plums are ripening in an orchard, and they were going to waste because there was no one to harvest them. And we were discussing whether it'd be permissible under certain circumstances like this to actually take the plums. And to be honest, a lot of times we were actually hungry and tired. It would have been a big one. And this was, I remember thinking at the time, and I think even afterwards, this is so amazing. This is like when we say Tefillah L'Shlomo Medina, when we say Mishaberach Tzal, this is what we daven for. This is what we prayed for. This is what we hoped that we would build a Jewish state, that they would have, that these kind of things that we would have, a Jewish army, that we would have, that the ethics involved in every aspect of our lives. And I just when I think about it now, every time of year, when the anniversary of the war comes up, and certainly as the Yamim Noraim approach, it just blows me away each time that this is mamish what we were discussing. And so this is so it very much depends, therefore, getting back to the Tochacha, getting back to what I was saying before, that it seems depressing, but I think that it's not scary, it's actually inspiring. And it really all depends on your perspective. So I remember one of the great little Maisma ever heard. These two yeshiva bachrim were on vacation, and they decided to make some money for themselves. They had heard that the Israeli government was offering a bounty. If you capture a terrorist, then you'll make some money. So they figured, it's been his money. They got some time. Let them go make their fortunes. They march up and up to Lebanon. They think, tomorrow we'll go searching for terror, and we'll be able to make ourselves rich. And they go to sleep, and they wake up, and in the night, a whole band of terrorists had managed to surround them. These two yeshiva bachrim. Yankel and Moshe. So they wake up, Moshe wakes up first, and he sees that they're like surrounding him, 10, 12 different terrorists, all pointing their rifles, their Kalashnikovs right at their faces. And he looks at Yankel, and Yankel is still sleeping, and he looks that they're totally outnumbered, right? And he's like counting, he's making sure, like he's thinking like 7 of them, 8 of them, 9 of them, 10, 12 of them, and he counts them all, and instead of getting like frightened or depressed, he breaks out into a big smile. And he starts getting excited, and he shakes Yankel, and he says, Yankel, wake up, we're rich. Right? I love that story in so many different levels, right? But it's all matter, it really goes to the heart of what is your perspective. Now, yes, if you try and you say, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be, and then it opens the door for being depressed at this time of year. But if you say, you know what, this is the opportunity I have to be the best version of myself, right? There are a lot of things that I look at, I've got so many talents that I can use for this world. I've got so many kochot, so much energy, if I could find a way to unlock it. And if I don't find a way to unlock it, then you're right. Then maybe then in a way you're sinning against yourself in a way. So let's not focus on anyone, let's just focus on ourselves. Let's try to say, if you make a list for yourself, what is the best version of me that I think that I can be? And then try to go about and doing it. One of my favorite authors, Henry David Thoreau, once said, don't worry about putting your castles in the air. When you dream, when you imagine, that's where they belong. Do that. Now try to put foundations under them. That's your goal. So that's our goal in Elul. Trying to figure out what is the best version of ourselves. Who is the me that I always want to be, the me that I think that I can be, and use this idea in trying to fulfill it. I wish you a tremendous month of Hatzlacha. I invite all of you to come visit us as much as you can. Come here to visit us in our Beit Midrash in the Old City, and from our Beit Midrash to wherever you're calling home right now. Have a great Shabbat. Have a great Yamim Noraim. Ketiva v'chatima tova. May it be a wonderful year, a year of bracha, of growth, and everything of the best. Shabbat shalom.